puso para kay Celis.
Celis able to receive. Robbie with a runner. Yes! Robbie Celis! Again, right on cue. Game winner para kay Robbie Celis. He got it off in time. And the Makati OK Bet Kings with a buzzer beater. Galing kay Robbie Celis. Take a look at this one. What an escape.
Matthew on the roll, and look at that. He just makes it look so easy. Waka is 9 out of 19. Whoa, the Ilonggo Superman hanging in the air, taking.
There you have it, Will McAloney. First dunk for today.
The reigning finals MVP of the MPBL.
Steal by Milano. Jason, spin move. Jason scores.
Defense to offense. Do the spin move. Necros is up 2 in the last 1 minute of the ball game.
Look at Milano. Beats Cruz to the spot.
Yes, pass inside. That's a good feed to Bernie Brigondo. 3 seconds now. Abilona pushing away his defender. That 3 is good to beat the buzzer.
Set the clock. Reach 2 seconds, but out! Basket and 1. Little pass coming from the top Bautista.
Milano, the sidestep and the finish.
Maayong gabi Pilipinas, ang aming mga minamahal na kababayan. At tayo po ay nagpapatuloy para sa ating Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Tonight we are coming to you live from inside the University of St. Lasal Coliseum, all the way down south to Bacolod City, the city of smiles. And there you see the smile of Will McAloney, the leading scorer of NUEVA ECIJA. Tonight he faces the leading scorer of the Makati OK Bet Kings. Robbie Celis returns after resting in their previous outing. We are also featuring 2 champion coaches. Coach Gerson Cabiltes for the NUEVA ECIJA Rise Vanguards in Season 4. And there you see Coach Don Dulay, formerly of the Davao Occidental Tigers, a champion coach in Season 3. It will be NUEVA ECIJA versus Makati to begin things here in Bacolod. And then later on, the Negros Muscovados will be defending their home court against the Manila Stars. We thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya and Andrea Endicio. Now we will break down our players and coaches na pinakita kanina, no? Javi, I'll go with the players. Sa'yo, no? Robbie Celis and Will McAloney. Your thoughts about that matchup?
Well, Will McAloney has been the leading scorer of NUEVA ECIJA this season. He took the mantle away from Michael Mabulak, who this season started out in and out of the lineup. A lot of injuries happening to him, but Will McAloney has really stepped up to the plate. He has increased his numbers in terms of points and rebounds. He's the leading scorer and rebounder of NUEVA ECIJA this season. While kay Robbie Celis naman, he has really transformed himself into a leader, not just on the court but also off of it, which is ang kailangan talaga nila ngayon, especially as they move out of the shadow of Marky, who was their former teammate when they were with Davao before.
Alright, so there you have it. Players for Javi Palanya. Coaches naman tayo para kay Andrea Endicio. Andrea, ano bang thoughts ang ating dalawang leaders coming into this matchup?
Una sa lahat, magandang gabi sa inyong dalawa at sa ating mga kaliga na nanonood right now. And to answer your question, kung kay Coach Don Dulay, Coach Gerson is a perfectionist coach. Para naman kay Coach Gerson Cabiltes, Coach Don is a solid coach. So obviously, these two coaches have high respect towards each other. But apparently, masasense mo talaga that there is some sort of a friendly rivalry going on with these two champion coaches dahil sabi nila, hindi daw sila magpapatalo sa isa't isa. Mig sinabi?
Well, that's definitely right. It's actually a bit of a lost rivalry, folks, because back in Season 3, no, nung bubble season tayo sa MPBL, Davao versus Basilan yun. Kung saan Basilan pa si Coach Gerson, Davao naman si Coach Don Dulay. Hindi po natuloy ang South Division Finals because of COVID protocol. So, this is basically their way to go up against each other after a long while in the MPBL. And so we thank you for joining us live on MPTV Channel 98 on Signal TV, also on our live streams on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, Mr. Javi Palanya will be breaking down our team standings as we are in the last quarter of our season.
Yeah, well, as we can see, Pampanga still leading the Northern Division with only 1 loss and 20 victories. But let's focus on the teams that are playing here today. The Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, a win today would solidify their spot at number 2 and create separation from the San Juan Knights. If they lose, they will tie with the San Juan Knights, who they will be facing on September 21. That's their third to the last game of the season. Now, itong Manila naman, medyo malayo na yung possibility for them to head into the playoffs. But of course, they want to get as many wins as possible. They're sitting at number 14 right now, 3-18. But, you know, playing here, going all the way here, you want to salvage what pride you have left in your season and get a win dito sa ating laro.
Subdivision naman, andyan ang Negros.
Tama ka dyan. Negros Muscovados sitting at 7-13, number 11 right now. Now, a win here could tie them with the Sarangani Marlins. 8-13, di pa sila naglalaban. So, di pa natin malalaman kung sino ang aangat sa team standings. But definitely here in the South, it's much more deadlier at the bottom because mas grabe yung chase for the number 8 spot kasi mas magkadikit sila.
Well, there you have it. Just 2 wins behind itong Negros to the Bacolod City of Smiles. So that's going to be an interesting race as we head on to our playoffs. Now let's talk about the previous game of the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, who have been slowly but surely impressing a lot of people in this season after losing to Sarangani and Pampanga. They've had big wins against Bacoor and Caloocan.
Yeah, 4 straight wins already, including this last one against the Caloocan Batang Kankalu. Very competitive game. Of course, we all watched out for this. Another blockbuster matchup between 2 great North Division teams. This was played at the Caloocan Sports Complex. And going into the fourth quarter, we were tied at 41 apiece. This was a game actually that was a defensive masterclass para sa parehong kupunan. Props to Coach Ronnie Dohilio and the Caloocan Batang Kankalu for really neutralizing Nueva Ecija during the first 3 quarters and not allowing them to get ahead too much. But in the fourth quarter, because Caloocan's offense was too stagnant, it made Nueva Ecija very easy to defend their offense. Naubusan ng Caloocan basically. Bababa free field goal shooting yung parehong kupunan, 34.3% and 33.8%. But it was the free throws that Caloocan gave up to Nueva Ecija that made the difference in the end game, including big shots by Jonathan Uyloan and Byron Villarias that spelled the difference for Nueva Ecija in that game.
Sa lagay na yun, si Will Macaloni, maganda rin ang pinakita para sa Nueva Ecija. That's why you saw the domination in the paint for the Rice Vanguards. Now let's talk about the other team, the Makati OK Bet Kings, who are also riding on their very own 4-game winning streak, and their previous victims were the Bicol Volcanoes.
Some will be saying, or actually most people will be saying, that Makati is definitely peaking at the right time. Of course, at the start of the season, there were players that were not yet in the roster, yung kanilang mga main guns, hindi pa naglalaro pa para sa kanila, mainly the Davao Occidental boys. Itong sila Joseph Terzo, Robbie Celes, Keith Agovida. They really made a difference at the middle of the season, and right now they are really going on a great roll. 4 games straight won already, and as you can see here, the numbers from that game against Bicol, they really dominated the Volcanoes after being up by just 6 at the start of the game after the first quarter. Makati never looked back and dominated them by as much as 21 points en route to the 73-56 victory.
Sa lagay na yan, sabi pa sa atin ni Coach Don Dulay, it wasn't their best performance, but the better thing about Makati was the sense of urgency that he felt during the training sessions because they will now face our defending champions. And next up, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. It is Makati versus Nueva Ecija, as now we turn you over to Richard Campos.
Maayong nga gabi, MPBL fans. Kanami kay nakitanay taliwat. We're coming to you live from the University of St. LaSalle Coliseum in the city of Smiles, Bacolod. And to those who are watching on the MPBL FB page, YouTube channel, and on MPTV Signal Channel 98, it's Makati versus Nueva Ecija on the 2023 OK Bet Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 5, presented by Extreme. Time to meet the starting lineups. First, for the MPBL defending champions, Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Starting at center number 14, Will Macaloni. At guard number 24, Joshua Fontanilla. The other guard, number 77, Renz Palma. Power forward, number 28, the Komodo Dragon, Michael Mabulak. Starting at forward, number 51, your very own from Silay City, Negros Occidental, Big Bang Toto, Byron Villarias. Whereby see a rise of vanguards is led by Gerson Cabiltes. Assistant coaches, Noy Catalan, Arnold Oliveros, Florian Pineda, Joseph Yon, and Harold Nang. Team coordinator, Raymond Dizon. Coaching consultant is Stevenson Chu. Team manager, Ivan Cuevas. Team owners are Miss Ryan May Cuevas and Mr. Bong Cuevas. Now, the starting five for Makati OK Bet Kings. At point guard number 7, JC Culyar. Off guard number 19, Eman Calo. Playing center number 25, Tonton Bringas. Small forward number 26, Ilonggo Superman, Billy Ray Robles. And at power forward number 8, your very own from Cadiz City, Negros Occidental, Robbie Celis. Makati OK Bet Kings head coach is Don Dulay. Assistant coaches Rob Wainwright, Matt Magalintal, Bo Salafranca, and Rick Season. Team manager Paul Nugget. Referees for the small.
We present to you the starters for Nueva Ecija and Makati. We have Joshua Fontanilla, Renz Palma, Will Macaloni, Byron Villarias, and Michael Mabulak for our defending champions. And then we have Eman Calo, Lucas Culyar, Tonton Bringas, Billy Robles, and Robbie Celis for the Makati OK Bet Kings. We thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya and Andrea Endicio. Couple of notable starters here for our two teams. Simulan na natin kay Tonton Bringas, Javi, no? Because of the sole fact that he was a part of that Nueva Ecija roster last year. How much of an impact do you think he can make for Makati?
Well, there's definitely a lot more motivation for Bringas to be able to play very well here today against his former squad. Yes, he was part of that champion team last year, but I think the main motivation for him is hindi siya masyado nagamit last year. And so he wants to prove to Coach Gerson Cabiltes and the rest of the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards na sinayang niyo.
Oh, lalim nun. But then again, it's enough for him to know his former teammates well. At na-mention nga niya sa atin, no, na meron siya mga tips na naibigay, especially on the defensive end, on how to guard the stars of the Rice Vanguards. Here's Byron Villarias on his homecoming. Remember last year, he was the best player twice for Nueva Ecija as he airballs a three-pointer. Last year, they went into triple overtime against Marquee and Bacolod. And the next day, ang kanilang tinalo ay Val City ba?
That's right.
That's a Val City team that had Ronze Buenafe, Patrick Abahug, and Cyrus Baguio. Will Macaloni still couldn't score. Kabila tayo. Billy Ray Robles. On to Robbie Celis, who's also from Bacolod. Back to Robles. Now to Celis again. Billy. Face up, then on the shot clock against Joshua Fontanilla. No foul, no conversion.
Excellent defense by Joshua Fontanilla.
The other end, Fontanilla lost the basketball. Nueva Ecija recovers. Mabulak to Renz Palma. His attack, and he scores.
Renz Palma has not been very consistent for Nueva Ecija this season. There have been games where he was so mediocre that Coach Gerson Cabiltes would not put him in for a long time on the floor. But this is a good sign for them. He was able to get the first basket of the game para sa kanila. Could be an opening para sa ibang shooters like Byron Villarias to be able to get free. Those lanes that Renz Palma can create a lot of opportunities para kay Byron Villarias.
I was supposed to ask you, what part of this game do you want to see the most? So it's his attacking ability.
Yes. That's the main reason why he's there. That's the main reason kung bakit siya kinuha dito sa Nueva Ecija, his ability to slash and make his way into the basket.
Here's Byron, met by Eman Calo. Villarias looking for a teammate. There's Michael Mabulak. Nice matchup against Robbie Celis. Mabulak, turnaround shot.
too strong.
I think that's a matchup that Makati wants to exploit. Gusto nila pagurin si Robbie Celis to be able to make it hard for him on the offensive side. Be physical with him on defense, make him work.
Well, Celis has had that challenge to become the leader of Makati defensively this season, as Villarias goes all the way for 2 points.
That is just poor transition defense para dito sa Makati. Celis was a tad bit too late in reacting to that turnover that made Nueva Ecija have the upstart in terms of running on the break and finishing.
It's now 4-0, turnover. Here come the Rice Vanguards, 4-on-1, Fontanilla, Mabulak to Palma.
Makati cannot allow Nueva Ecija to do these kinds of things. Force turnovers, run out on the break, and get easy baskets. This is where they are so good at.
Now we present to you this exceptional pass of the game brought to you by Boracay de la Ia, the official hotel and resort of the MPBL. One last feed coming from Michael Mabulak finding Renz Palma. Nueva Ecija is actually number 1 in the league in terms of assists per game, averaging 26.5 per outing. Nice start for our defending champions, 6-0.
Here's what happened yesterday at Cuneta Astrodome in Pasay City. Imus getting a big win over the Laguna Asia Heroes. Pampanga showing their dominance once again against the Quezon Huskers. Actually, for a bit, medyo dumikit pa dyan ang Quezon, but Pampanga was just too deep. And in our final game, Pasay Voyagers losing for only the 2nd time this season on their home floor to the Caloocan Batang Kankalu.
So Pasay is currently number 7 in the North Division, just below the Makati OK Bet Kings. If you think about it, this matchup right now, Nueva Ecija versus Makati, might be a preview of our playoff picture, no? Pwedeng sa first round, pwedeng sa second round magharap ang ating dalawang koponan.
And that's why it's gonna be such a treat for our fans kung maging preview nga ito ng ating playoffs, because there's already a premeditated rivalry between these two coaches, between these two teams, these set of players. Kaya naman talagang magagamit nila ito as a warm-up if they indeed match up in our postseason.
You know, I did ask Joseph Terzo before this game. Nag-champion kayo ng Season 3. Pero kung tutusin, nag-skip kayo ng playoff series eh. So in a way, meron bang pagkukulang yung pagkapanalo ninyo? And sabi niya, to be honest with you, oo. They really wanted to go up against Coach Gerson's Basilan team back then.
Yeah, because how can you say that you're la creme de la creme, the best of the best, if hindi ka nga dumaan sa isa sa mga pinakamagaling na team?
Oo. Pero ngayon, ang dadaanan natin ay si Andrea Indicio, who has a report for us.
Coach Don Dulay said that with the name Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards alone, iba na daw talaga yung gana ng team. Even with their practices, nag-reflect daw ang ibang klaseng energy ng kanyang mga players. Although Makati has a solid core, Coach Don is a bit concerned about the fact that they are still working on their role players. Something na present daw dito sa kabilang team. So right now, ang challenge daw sa kanilang koponan is to play at the same level with the Rice Vanguards, knowing that their opponent team has a perfectionist coach. Coach Don says they have to play as systematic as they could be. Migs and Javi?
That's definitely right. We're going up against the defending champions now in the MPBL. And Andrea brought up a great point. We've always talked about Makati having that Davao core. But if you think about it, that Davao core is less than 50% of this squad of Coach Don. And so, Javi, how would you evaluate these new players so far?
And that's true. I just want to add to your previous point, 50%, because the other 50% is Mark E alone.
That's a nice point.
You know, this is definitely a very new look team with a lot of young guns injected to this system. So I think the challenge is, how are you gonna, paano mo hahawaan ng kultura mo dati, itong mga bagong salta mo dito sa Makati?
And to remind everybody, this score did not start the season. They were like, what, 4 games in kung saan pumasok yung Davao core, no? As Michael Mabulak scores from the mid-range. And so medyo lugi in terms of timeline itong players ni Coach Don Dulay. But still, we have to hold them to the highest of standards, especially knowing the fact that they do have a championship culture. Eman Calo with 7 on the shot clock, attacking the defense of Mabulak. Calo hangs, he got blocked. 1 second, no basket.
That's the reason why Coach Jerson Cabilde started Will Macaloni and Michael Mabulak to be able to stop the attackers like Eman Calo from getting inside and getting easy baskets.
Even Renz Palma got a chase down block in one of our previous possessions on JC Cuellar. Miss from Mabulak. Here comes Robbie Celis. Numbers for Makati. Eman Calo for 3. Nope. 2 men went down. Here's Joshua Fontanilla. Bringas just pushing around itong si Will Macaloni. 10 on the shot clock. Will not backing down. And was that a turnover? Yes, it was.
You could see in the eyes of Tonton Bringas on that play that he really wanted Joshua Fontanilla to give the ball to Will Macaloni. He wanted the challenge of being able to stop Will on his first attempt at the basket.
Almost a turnover by Makati. They recover. Robbie Celis, good feed to Tonton, but he misses on the gimme. One more try. Nice tap by Renz Palma. Ball will remain with Makati.
You can really see ibang-iba yung gana ni Tonton Bringas ngayon. Getting those offensive rebounds against the tall threes of Nueva Ecija, that's not something that is easy to do.
Oh, a miscue for Makati. That's not good. Kabila tayo. Stop and pop for the homegrown. Too strong for Byron. Tapos sa kabila. Eman Calo. Lucas Cuellar. Onto the Ilonggo Superman. Ball was tapped. Very active hands tonight so far for Nueva Ecija. And a couple more misses for Makati.
Just like that game against Caloocan, Makati is also a very good defensive team. Of course, Coach Don Dulay, being a champion coach himself, puts a very heavy premium on the defensive side of the floor. At di talaga siya pumapayag na di maglaro ng depensa. Kahit ikaw si Robbie Celis, kahit ikaw si Eman Calo, he doesn't care what reputation you have as star players. You have to be able to play defense.
You know, in terms of what you said, no, the high standard of Coach Don Dulay, the defense that he demands from Makati, I did have a comparison provided to us by Jonathan Uiloa, saying that Coach Don Dulay's system, yung X's and O's niya, he sees similarities between Coach Don Dulay and Coach Yeng Yao of the PBA. Now, the funny thing is, in terms of personality, para kay Coach Yeng Yao, yun naman ang nakikita niyang similarity with Coach Jerson Cabilde.
That's a very interesting point. And, you know, it's good that it came from Jonathan Uiloan, who could definitely give credible insight about that, because he did play with Coach Don Dulay in rain or shine, and he did play under Coach Yeng Yao.
Oh, nice basket there by Billy Ray Robles. That was the first field goal of Makati in this game out of 8 tries.
Relentless going to the basket. You can see here the cut right on the money as well as the pass. Very important that you try and challenge guys like Will Macaloni. Make them work on the defensive side of the floor. And Billy Ray Robles, very good at doing that. Upper body strength and the athleticism.
Oh, that's basically the reason why he has the nickname of Ilonggo Superman. It's just a shame that he won't be able to play on his hometown. He will be in Iloilo this coming Monday. Pero ibang mga koponan ang ating ipi-feature. Billy Robles converts from the stripe. Ito ngayon si Chris Bitoon. Jay Collado. On to, that's Roy Sumang. Concepcion to Wico. 3-pointer. Too strong. That's good defense, right, by Robles?
That's right. You know, that's good defense when you know na titira si Mike galing sa labas. Because when he's put the ball on the deck, medyo delikado ka na dyan because that is his strength, attacking the basket.
10-6 now. Under 3 minutes and 20. A lot of defense here in the first frame. Wico, great feed by Bitoon.
You gotta be able to push him out and prevent those cuts because he's so good at timing those cuts, especially when the guard attacks from the outside.
Nice contest by Jay Collado on the other end. That was against RJ Ramirez. 10 on the shot clock. Robbie Celis hangs. Could not score. Recovery. Up and under. Wala pa rin. And here comes Roy Sumang. Michael Wico. 1-2. That's 2 free throws.
That's just the veteran and Joseph there, so not allowing the easy 2 points by Wico. And Mike, not really your best free throw shooter, so you definitely want to make him earn it from the line. But it was the previous play. Ayan ang sinasabi ko eh. Magaling si Mike mag-timing ng cuts niya when he knows there's a ball handler attacking through the basket. So you have to be able to push him out as he goes through the middle.
Michael Vico now proceeds to the stripe. He is a member of our 1,000 points club. And he did give us his sentiment. Sabi niya, 1,000 points na ako. Wala pang 3-pointer yan. Ha? Imagine nyo kung may 3 points na ako. There's Coach Gerson Gabiltes, the previous head coach of the Basilan Steel, which reached the South Division Finals in Season 3. They were supposed to face Coach Don Dulay and the Davao Occidental Tigers. But again, because of COVID protocols, hindi po natuloy yung series na yun. And Davao basically got a free pass to the finals as RJ Ramirez scores.
RJ Ramirez gives a fresh perspective off the bench para dito sa Makati. He's a guy who can play both ends of the floor and then also score the basketball.
Remember, he was the star last year for the Bacoor City Strikers alongside Mark Montuano. Well, Sumang misses. Great effort by Collado. But he was called for a foul.
And this is an interesting lineup actually that Coach Don Dulay has right now. You have 3 guards in Colliar, Terzo, and Ramirez. All of them could play similarly, but you see here Collado pushing out Colliar, which puts them over the limit now.
You think this 3-point guard lineup has something to do with them struggling from the field, only 2 out of 12?
Yeah, and also to try and prevent Nueva Ecija from forcing turnovers. We all know that Coach Gerson Cabiltes loves to make his team pressure from the backcourt and try to get easy baskets from that kind of defense.
To your point, 7 turnovers already in this game for Makati, as opposed to the 2 of Nueva Ecija. Bit ironic because in the season, Nueva Ecija is number 2 in the league in turning the ball over, just behind the home team later on, the Negros Escobados.
And having said that, I'm sure Coach Joseph Cabiltes definitely wants to change the ranking in that department because he wants everything to be set nicely as they head down to the last stretch of this regular season and to prepare for the playoffs. That's not something that you want to be at the top of.
Sabi nga ni Andre Endicio, no? In the words of Coach Don Dulay, perfectionist itong si Coach Gerson. No conversion there. Great transition defense by Nueva Ecija. RJ Ramirez, baseline drive. There's the kick out. Makati still having a hard time executing here. Terzo on the ISO. Step back 3-pointer. Too strong.
Yeah, you know, because Nueva Ecija is such a good defensive team and they get back so quickly. You saw them going back on transition defense. Nagdadalawang isip yung Makati. That could have been an easy 2 points already. And on the recycle, the second possession, Terzo had a chance to get it to Colliar, but Colliar didn't want to cut through the middle because he knows there was a chance for Nueva Ecija to intercept the passing lanes.
As Collado shoots the 3-pointer and he makes it. I ask you this. We've known Nueva Ecija to be a slow starting team here in the MPBL. Would you say that their first quarter defense right now is up a notch?
Oh yeah, definitely. And that is the reason why their offense is also moving so nicely because dyan talaga nila kinukuha yung kumpiyansa nila. Even if they don't say it, a lot of people, experts will really notice that this Nueva Ecija team, their defense fuels their offense.
Colliar off of the steal, could not make the layup. Balik tayo sa Makati. RJ Ramirez, handoff, Aguvida, nice feed to Alan Santos.
And on that occasion, a scramble defensively for the Rice Vanguards, capitalized right away by the veteran Alan Santos. Great pass from Kita Aguvida.
Well, this is definitely a good sign for Makati. The lead has been cut down to 2 points. Their bench has come alive. Wico to Concepcion. He was fouled by Keith Aguvida.
At least the Kings not yet in the penalty. So that was a foul to give. Second to the last right there for the Kings.
First foul on Keith Aguvida. There's the feed to the raging Alan Santos, who you might have noticed in our warm-up. He had a different look on his face. He's much more motivated going up against his co-veterans coming from the Nueva Ecija side. 9 on the shot clock. Chris Vitoon. Drive. 1-2. Sorry, miss. 9 seconds to go in the opening frame. Lucas Colliar serving the floor. Crossover, feed, Agovida. That's good.
Say what you want about Keith Agavida losing his touch, but that will always be there para sa kanya. A legend in high school basketball here in the Philippines, once held the record for most points scored in a game, and you know that the score in him will always be there. Great setup by Colliar to get an open look for Keith Agavida.
He really takes pride in the way he plays nowadays. Mabagal pero effective itong si Keith Agovida as he continues to idolize Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is not known for his flashiness. Mr. Fundamentals nga kung tawagin sa NBA. No? Our score after one is 16-all. We are coming back to you live from inside the University of St. LaSalle Coliseum, which only means that we are in Bacolod City, the city of smiles, for your MPBL Saturday. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Andrea Endicio. Counter turnover there for Makati off of their steal. Sherwin stops and pops. Too strong. And that's a foul on the rebound play.
Well, that was a sigh of relief there para sa Makati. You don't give Sherwin those kinds of opportunities, especially top of the circle threes like that in transition.
Oh, he did that a lot with Mindoro. At some point, Sherwin Concepcion was averaging 12 threes attempted per game. But of course, everything has changed ever since he has been a part of NUEVA ECIJA. There's another foul.
That's going to go against Keith Agovida as he tried to chase Roy Sumang off of that switch on the staggered screens. First quarter field goal story right there on your screens. 7 out of 15 and 5 out of 17 for NUEVA ECIJA and Makati respectively. We're all tied up at 16 apiece.
You see the next 3 games for Coach Gerson Cabiltes, no? Mahirap-hirap dahil lahat yan winning teams. And home court pa ng Quezon Huskers on August 3. After that, they go back home to Palayan City to take on Pasig. And then, they will take on Gensan on August 16. And now, we'll take this time to listen in to Andrea Endicio.
Pinag-uusapan natin kanina itong core ng Makati at yan nga ang binring up sa akin itong si Coach Gerson Cabiltes saying this core really knows how to play together with an undeniable connection. Hindi lang dyan natatapos ang pointers ni Coach Gerson. Special mention din nga niya itong si Robbie Celis na from his own words is currently playing amazing basketball. But to add to that, in this Makati team daw, anyone can explode, so he didn't pinpoint specific players to his boys but instead, he told them to rely on their game plan, what they prepared, and how hard they prepared. Back to you guys.
Well, it looks to me, Javi, that that preparation has been worth it, especially in the opening minutes for NUEVA ECIJA. Right now, Makati's looking better with RJ Ramirez draining a jump shot.
Yeah, that's right. Robbie Celis has not been a factor yet in this game, but this three-guard lineup that Coach Don Dulay has put in towards the latter part of the first quarter have really helped them get back into this game. And you see here this baseline out-of-bounds play. Collier setting up Ramirez off of a great brush screen by Alan Santos. RJ has really sharpened his stroke, especially on those turnaround jumpers.
Now, since we have been talking about that three-man point guard lineup for Coach Don Dulay, I'd like you to differentiate the contributions by implemented by Coach Don Dulay, the contribution of Lucas Culliar, Joseph Terzo, and RJ Ramirez.
I'll start with Joseph Terzo. He brings the stability and the leadership, of course, the veteran experience. He is the main guard out of those three guys, and he really wants to be able to make sure na organized yung offense nila. While for Lucas Culliar, he brings the youth, he brings the energy, and he could also play on defense. Both Terzo and Culliar are good outside shooters, while RJ Ramirez, a very explosive scorer, especially going downhill towards the basket.
Kita Govida, not the most explosive of scorers, but he can definitely be very effective. He scored inside on the reverse. Wico, he was fouled. Michael Wico is number 7 in the league in offensive rebounding as a guard. 3.5 per ball game. See what happened here for Keith Agovida.
There you see, working his way against the defense of Sherwin Concepcion. It's really a very fundamental drive to the basket. Nothing really special. Tinagal niya lang talaga. And because he has so much experience going up against smaller or bigger defenders, no matter who you put on him, it doesn't matter. Meron na lagi siyang paraan para makascore.
Now, I did mention his idol, Tim Duncan. I really have to ask you about it. Do you see any resemblance?
Well, definitely because of the simplified play na wala masyadong flashiness, that is where I could see the resemblance to Tim Duncan. But because he's a lefty, it's so hard to see it if you look at it plainly.
Oo. Oh, then again, hindi naman masama magkaroon ng idol. Tim Duncan pa man din yun. 16-7 is our rebounding story in favor of Makati. Second chance points, 10-0. 21-18, RJ for 3. That was short.
And that's a pity looking at those numbers para sa Nueva Ecija because they're one of the best rebounding teams here in the league.
Another foul. This time it's on RJ Ramirez.
Oh, Michael Wico also a little bit extra aggressive here at the start of this ball game. He knows that he has to be one of these guys to lead itong kanyang koponan and not fall into any sort of complacency at the start of this game because I'm sure everybody on this team knows na they start out slow and they cannot do that against Makati and Coach Don Dulay because they have something to prove as well. Kasi nga hindi nila na kalaban itong team na to during their past time. So now they want to prove a point na eto, naglaban na tayo, kaya namin kayo talunin.
Oh, and that's over the fact that this season for Nueva Ecija hasn't been as smooth as last year. They've had some tough wins. They already have 2 losses, matching their output in terms of losses last year. And it's going to be a long road for Coach Gerson Cabildes if he wants to defend that championship.
They're not exactly as invincible as they were last year.
Terzo misses. Ball rebounded by Macaloni. Here's Pamboy Raimundo. Hand off to Byron. Figueres hasn't made a 3-point shot as of yet, which can be a concern because he has a tendency to be streaky, both making and missing those threes.
So far, he's 0 out of 3 from downtown. Makati doing a very good job of challenging his attempts.
Nice control there on the footwork by Lucas Culliar. A miss by Terzo. Rebound, Byron.
Well, I think for Makati, it's if we can't make threes, Nueva Ecija can't make threes as well. They're both 1 out of 6 from the outside. Sorry, 1 out of 7 after that Terzo 3 for Makati.
Macaloni took it inside the paint. So these will be the 7th and 8th free throws in this game for Nueva Ecija. Pasok dito si Harvey Pagsanhan. Same goes for Eman Calo, Billy Robles, and Robbie Celis para sa Makati. Will Macaloni is at the stripe. He is number 9 in the league in scoring at 14.5, number 9 in rebounding at 8.5, which means he is number 1 in those categories for Nueva Ecija. He's number 1 not only in Nueva Ecija, but for the whole league in 2-point field goal percentage at 63% efficiency. And get this, as a big man, he is number 2 in free throw shooting percentage at 74%.
Wow, behind John Wilson, huh?
Oo.
Will Macaloni has really improved this play this year, really stepping up to the plate and responding to the challenge.
Would you say that he is the number 1 player of Nueva Ecija so far?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it shows on the numbers, and it definitely shows on the floor the way that he plays.
Actually, even the number of his best player of the game awards, sana yung bagong Byron in terms of bilang.
And the beauty of this team of Nueva Ecija is, even if it's just such a star-studded roster, so much experience between all of these players, walang inggitan na nagaganap eh.
That's right. They just want to defend that championship. As Billy Ray Robles got fouled hard, let's see if this will be an unspo.
I'm sure there definitely was no intention to hurt. Hindi lang talaga makontrol yung momentum on that challenge on Billy Ray Robles. Here you see Calo getting a good bullet pass to the longest Superman. And it's really tough because when you're in the air, konting bangga lang would really get you off balance and put you in a dangerous situation of falling on the ground.
So, it's just a common foul.
It was just a little bump, no? Hindi naman wala namang extension masyado naganap. And the fall really wasn't too bad for Billy Ray Robles.
Actually, you might also argue, nagdalawang isip si Will Macaloni at the last second. He tried to avoid itong si Billy Robles. Let's take this time to greet some people watching from Manila because we are in Bacolod. Boss Robert Chen of the Makati OK Bet Kings and Miss Jax Resuelo, good evening po sa inyo. May pinapabati rin si Jay Collado, no? Ang kanyang asawa na si Carla, Litham, Iyar, ang kanilang anak, at si Rose. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. And we hope that you are enjoying your MPBL action. Shaq Taganas, met by Matthew Daves. Back up, Pamboy Raimundo. The score is 21 all in this low-scoring affair. 6 on the shot clock for Macaloni. Great defense by Robles. Forward pass, Eman Calo on the touchdown.
So there on that play, it was Makati giving Nueva Ecija a dose of their own medicine, at least for this matchup, because the Rice Vanguards have been doing a good job of getting those turnovers and running back on the break, which Makati wasn't able to prevent much in the first quarter.
Foul inside, this time on Billy Robles. There's the steal. Great read by Billy.
That's the danger. But Robles could have gotten away with stepping on that baseline. Hindi nakita ng ating mga referees. But, you know, that's the danger sometimes when Will Macaloni faces up, because his body is inclined too forward. There's an opportunity, especially if it's a smaller player like Billy Ray Robles, to go for that swipe.
He's really known to be more of a face-up guy than a post-up guy, no? Si Will Macaloni. In fact, in their high-lows, he would usually be at the top. Nasa loob sina Shaq Taganas and Michael Mabula. It's Jay Collado who shares the same role as Will. 23 all, under 5 minutes and 20. Foul this time on Baby Shaq.
A little bit too hard on the show was Shaq Taganas.
14 on the shot clock, sideline inbound for the Ilonggo Superman. Here's JC, Lucas Cullar, beat to Matthew Daves. Another foul. How many fouls have we had? That's 17 now in total.
It looks like that offense for Makati was going nowhere. They were able to dump it down inside the paint. That provided the opportunity for Matthew Daves to try and manufacture a shot para sa Makati. Kaya lang mintis ang kanyang unang free throw.
You know, this guy, Matthew Daves, is a guy who Robbie Celis pointed out to me before this game. Though he has to be able to step up for Makati because this is going to be a very physical game. And in terms of pieces para sa Makati, Daves has such a good body to compete against these bigs of the Rice Vanguards.
Yeah, and also the advantage that he has, aside na mas bata siya compared to these veterans of Nueva Ecija, dalang-dala niya yung kanyang bigat. You know, he has that speed advantage even with that heft. But Will McAloney showing that speed on the other side para sa Rice Vanguards. Excellent reverse. When he's going left, there is nothing much you can do.
6 points, 3 rebounds now for Will McAloney. Here's Lucas Culliar. Up top to Robbie Celis. He's been shut down so far. Robbie could not score. Rebound, Robles, and there's the putback.
They're allowing the outside shot for Robbie Celis, but Robbie has been opting to put the ball on the deck and go for those pull-up jumpers. So far, he has not taken those shots in rhythm that has made him get those misses in this game.
But to your point, he definitely has that three-point shot on his repertoire. Pamboy to Harvey, three-pointer, too strong. Ball tapped. Here's Byron. Still couldn't make a three-pointer.
And that was already an open look for Villarreal.
No backing violation there. 26-25, under 4 minutes in the second. Billy Ray Robles. Harvey went down. Ball tapped away by Shaq Taganas.
That was such a back-breaking pick by Matthew Daves on Harvey Pagsanhan.
Nag-aabot yan, no? Sa UAAP. They should have.
Yes,
Harvey for UE, Matthew for Ateneo.
that is correct.
Sideline. They have a new player for Makati. That's Franz Diaz. How about that?
First appearance this season for the Kings, and right away, wala pang 20 segundo sa sahig. Able to get a three-point shot. Instant impact off the bench para kay Franz Diaz.
So he's the fourth point guard of Makati. Shaq Taganas, top of the key. Way off.
Oh, you know, he does have that license to get the occasional three, especially if he's left with that kind of an open look. But he hasn't really been that consistent. So not really very reliable on those three-point shots. It was Shaq Taganas.
But remember, it was a top of the key three last year that kept them in the running for the championship as Harvey Pagsanhan scored on the break.
Well, Pagsanhan just really wanting to, you know, make a name for himself dito sa Nueva Ecija and, you know, prove to these other veterans that I too can be part of this system and I too can contribute significantly in this championship run that we're about to go on again.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also the ultimate development year for Harvey Pagsanhan because this is his residency year. Full commitment siya sa Nueva Ecija before proceeding to Emilio Aguinaldo.
That's correct. Next year, he will be playing in the NCAA under Coach Gerson Cabildes for the EAC Generals together with Nobby Lucero.
There you go. Harvey Pagsanhan attacking the defense of Billy Ray Robles. He is known for that. Even back in his high school days, playing for Coach Gerson. Sa Hope, no?
He has seen this young man grow up right before his eyes. So I'm sure he had no hesitation na kunin ito si Harvey Pagsanhan when there was a roster spot that opened up here for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards.
It's a bit of a prodigal son story for Harvey Pagsanhan.
Oh, really?
I mean, nalayo siya ng onte.
Oh, yeah,
And
tama.
then
When
bumalik
he
na
went
lang
to UE.
kay Coach Gerson. Wala naman siyang kasalanan.
Okay, akala ko may backstory kasi.
Hindi. Tonton Bringas misses, but Robbie Celis was there.
Oh, that's a good way for Celis to get his first basket, being a difficult shot on the tip-in on the offensive rebound. That could get his confidence going here for Makati.
Ooh! Eman Calo went down. No foul. Miss from Fontanilla. Rebound to no one.
I'm telling you, if that were 5 years ago, there was already a scuffle that happened. But Eman Calo is so much more behaved in recent years.
Oh, he has matured a lot. Even his game has translated so much for Coach Don Dulay.
He just really lets his game do the talking nowadays.
Now we have a timeout for Coach Don. Looking so serious at the sidelines. 31 29 as you take a look at the putback of Robbie Celis. He did mention he has been struggling inside even though NUEVA has been giving him that shot. And so, we head on to this break. 2-point lead for Celis and company. See the next 3 games of Makati. Well, this is the reason why they have an extra game face on for today. No? Not only because it's NUEVA that they're taking on in Bacolod. The next game will be against Pampanga. After that, it's Iloilo on August 11. And then they visit the cage to take on Muntinlupa.
Certainly their hardest stretch of this regular season in terms of games played para dito kay Coach Don Dulay and the Makati OK Bet Kings. Facing a similar stretch is the NUEVA ECIJA Rice Vanguards when we looked at their next 3 games on their schedule. That's why, you know, this is the best part of the season. As basketball fans, as MPBL fans, we're witnessing great matchups when teams are already playing at their peaks.
Great pass back right there by Eman Calo, finding Tonton Bringas, who you have mentioned has been extra aggressive as he is, or he might be, most likely is feeling extra motivated dahil hindi nga siya nagamit no, last year for NUEVA ECIJA. He was injured though at the start of the season. Not sure if it actually stretched out to the end.
Well, you know, they kept him on the inactive roster for most part of last year. And that's the reason also why he gained some weight. Medyo bumigat siya. And you're seeing him now, pumayat, gain back a bit of that muscle. And that's why he moves better now. He's more nimble. 2 offensive rebounds already here in this game. That's against great people off the glass like Mabulak and Macaloni.
Tonton is at the stripe. He makes the bonus. He has quite a similar story to JP Sarao of the Muntinlupa Cagers, who is now excelling playing for Muntinlupa. Coach Gerson must be proud of his players.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was quite maybe a painful decision for them. Siyempre, yung mga pinagdaanan, marami ng pinagdaanan. But if you're the head coach, you know, you also want to see your players blossom and realize their true potential, especially for guys like Tonton Bringas na, you know, he's not getting any younger.
I actually want to give you a story that has a bit of a sense like that, no? In the previous game, Chris Vitoon shared to me that Coach Gerson had tears in their practices. And it comes quite regularly to him. And it's because of the decision-making process of who he will bench in the next game. Sino yung hindi makakapag-suit up, hindi makakapaglaro para sa NUEVA ECIJA. Why was he in tears? It's because he sees the hard work of each and every player during their practices. He wants to give them the minutes that they deserve. But of course, he is limited in each outing.
Ayun, kaya yan ang maganda kay Coach Gerson Cabiltes, no? I'm sure, you know, a lot of the coaches can relate to this. Kasi pag naging head coach ka na, pag naging coach ka, napapamahal ka talaga sa mga player mo. You know, even if you're hard on them, you give them a lot of tough love on the floor in practices during games. Pero para ka na kasi pangalawang tatay para sa kanila.
Right.
Even here in the pros, I'm sure it's the same thing compared to the collegiate and the amateur ranks. Ganyan na rin naman ang nararamdaman ng mga coaches na to. I'm sure even Coach Don Dulay feels the same.
Oh, that's for sure. The Makati players have talked about Coach Don Dulay at high regard each and every time. Even their personal problems daw, no, maabot dun si Coach Don. Such a great leader for these Kings.
And that's why it's no surprise that these two coaches have quite the resumes already in such a relatively short coaching career, ang dami pang pwedeng abutin nito ni Coach Don Dulay, ni Coach Gerson Cabildes. The sky is definitely the limit para sa dalawang head coach na to.
They are, after all, the last two reigning coaches here in the MPBL. Champion coaches at that. Think about it, all the remaining champion coaches are in the North Division. Kung isasama mo si Coach Randy Alcantara. Coach Tan, Mike Tan, is not a part of the MPBL anymore. He was the champion coach back in the day for Batangas. Foul on Tonton Bringas. It's been a very slow game, folks. A lot of physicality, therefore a lot of fouls.
Well, we expected this coming from these two squads. Just like that game against Caloocan, as I mentioned earlier, these two teams put a heavy premium on defense. And even if they're loaded with so much offensive firepower, you know that they will compete on the defensive side of the floor to be able to stop each other from getting on a roll.
Well, that's what makes a champion team. For you to be great defensively. We've been talking about these two championship caliber coaches and cores. Now Coach Gerson will be calling for time. It's 35 to 29. Alam mo, Javi, as much as we are currently enjoying here in Bacoor, pagdating natin sa Luzon, ang magandang offer ko sa iyo ay isang premium experience at isang exceptional stay sa Boracay de la Ia, ang official hotel and resort of the MPBL. I'm sure we are all excited to, actually experience that resort owned by Sir Robert Kai. Shout out to you, sir.
I'm definitely looking forward to the day na makabisita tayo doon.
Oo. Pero sa ngayon, dito muna tayo sa City of Smiles. This coming Monday sa City of Love naman in Iloilo. 35-29. There has been much love shared in today's ball game for Makati and Nueva Ecija in the context of the physicality that we have seen so far. Maraming yakapan, maraming tapikan, at maraming fouls. Baseline inbound for Roy Sumang. Joining him are Bobby B, Michael Mabulak, Ben Palma, and Joshua Fontanilla. Inside, they try to go. Turnover.
Ecija has not been careful with the basketball here in the second quarter. It has allowed Makati to establish this lead as he tried to wind down the first half.
12-second differential here. RJ Ramirez met by Roy Sumang. There's the switch. Handoff. Eman Calo for three. Too strong. Rebound. But what a block that was from Michael Mabulak. 10 seconds. Pass back. Stolen away. And a breakaway layup for Tonton Bringas.
Man, that was a pity. A few years ago, that could have been a hard slam by Tonton Bringas. Watching him play in college, him and his brother, very explosive vertical leapers.
That was so anticlimactic. He slowed down, bumuelo siya para lumayap. But still, they will take those 2 points. More so, this 8-point lead at halftime, 37 to 29. And we lead you into our teaser for our Visayas Invasion this coming Monday for Iloilo.
Wilson trying to extend that. What a move! The hop step inside the lane and the adjustment in mid-air. John Wilson gets the step on Francis Camacho.
Stepping back, bounce pass. Dexter Marquez on to JC Marcelino for some magic.
Again, deciding what to do up in the air.
The MPBL as one of the brightest stars that's shown in Season 4. Right now.
Celis will fire. That's good. Tie game. 4.6 seconds remaining.
He was asking for it. He was asking for that basketball.
More basketball action coming your way this Monday dyan lamang po sa Iloilo. Starting off with the Gensan versus Zamboanga at 6 p.m. followed by Manila versus the home team Iloilo at 8 p.m. But at this juncture, we will be having our halftime interview together with Sir Paul Nagit, the team manager of the Makati OK Bet Kings. Thank you so much, Sir Paul, for joining me here at the half. Sir Paul, I'm just curious, ano po ba ang attitude ng team come facing the defending champions tonight?
Yung game plan ni coach tsaka yung team is laban lang. Whatever happens, laban. Play for each other. That's it.
Alright, Sir Paul, meron po ba kayong gustong batiin o pasalamatan? Go ahead.
We would like to thank the OK Bet management and sa mga tournament organizers dito sa Negros. Shout out to Miss Michelle and kay Sir Jason. To my family, my mom and dad, hi, and to my girlfriend, hello.
Thank you so much, Sir Paul. And that's it for our halftime interview. Wag po kayong aalis. Magbabalik pa ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
4, 3, 2,
score at halftime for Nueva Ecija and Makati is 37-29. Again, at the start of this game, Nueva Ecija started better. They outscored Makati 8-3. Ever since, it's been 34-21 in favor of the Kings.
Yeah, it was a slow start for the Makati OK Bet Kings. Nueva Ecija putting on great defensive pressure at the start of this game to be able to get easy baskets in transition. That's the reason why they have 9 fast break points compared to just 5 for Makati. Both teams not really shooting well from the field, but because of the offensive rebounds of Makati, this is where they were able to claw back into this game and establish an advantage at the end of the first 20 minutes. Look at that, +8 in terms of rebounding and +7 in terms of offensive rebounds. 18 second chance points from those 12 offensive boards. And Nueva Ecija is not a bad rebounding team. They're actually at the top of the league in terms of rebounding, just behind Pampanga. Pero nakita mo, 5 offensive rebounds lang and 2 second chance points.
Tonton Bringas himself had 4 offensive rebounds for the Makati OK Bet Kings en route to 5 total rebounds and a layup that had so much anticipation inside this arena. Could have been a dunk, but still 2 points for him. There you see the leading scorers for Nueva Ecija, Will Macaloni and Michael Rico. They have been the 2 leading scorers in this season for the Rice Vanguards. Kabila naman, Tonton, facing his former team, has 7 points. RJ Ramirez, Billy Ray Robles, and Lucas Cullar combined for 16 as well. And so now we begin the third quarter. This is Nix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Andrea Inviso. Mayong gabi sa inyong lahat. Salamat sa inyong panonood ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. Eman Calo working with Billy Ray Robles, Robbie Celis, Lucas Cullar, and Tonton Bringas. Kabila tayo, Michael Wico with Byron Villarias, Michael Mabulak, Will Macaloni, and Chris Pitoon. Wico scores inside.
Just the same way that we started this ball game right here to open up the second half. A basket right away for Nueva Ecija coming off a stop. This third quarter will be crucial in the outcome of this game for both squads. The team that will be able to play exceptional here in the third period will have a good chance of winning this game.
To your point about turning the ball over, at the start of this game, it was 7-2 in terms of turnovers in favor of Nueva Ecija. But at halftime, it was already 9-8 in favor of Makati.
And Villarias continues to misfire from the outside. 0 out of 5 from three-point country. And that last shot was a challenged one in transition.
Remember, last year, Villarias, on his hometown here in Bacolod, had 2 Best Player of the Game awards against Bacolod and Valenzuela, respectively. Do you remember if he struggled as well in the early part of that Bacolod game?
I don't remember already the start, but definitely he was the one that helped them claw their way back into that game in the fourth quarter. He helped them force the first overtime and eventually won the game for them in the third overtime.
Yes. I remember that game. We actually reached tomorrow.
Yes.
Umabot tayong 12 midnight for Bacolod versus Nueva Ecija. Villarias off of the switch. They go to CB. Bitoon misfires. Rebound. Bringas. He really is playing rejuvenated basketball tonight.
Indeed, that is definitely the correct term for it. I mean, leading all scorers after the end of the first half and getting the most rebounds
offensively. Breakaway here for Byron. This can get him going.
If you remember that game against the Bacoor City Strikers, his first basket of that match was a layup. And after that, he got hot in shooting from the 3.
Oh, that was the old Byron that we knew. The Byron that showed up in Palayan City again. No basket there for Makati. We go back. Nueva Ecija's way, 37-33. See what happened. Great anticipation by Byron Figueres. He might not be credited with that steal, but still, 2 points for him. He is, after all, number 3 in the league in steals per game at 2 per outing.
Once hailed as one of the more underrated two-way players of this league. As you look at the fast break point story on your screens, 11-5. But back to Villarias, because of the way that he's put on the numbers in terms of steals, I don't think his defense is underrated anymore. He definitely is one of the best two-way players of the league.
He truly deserves the recognition that everybody has given him. Now he has a finals MVP on his resume. Actually, it came in late last year as Robbie Celis got fouled inside. Remember, even though a lot of people might have argued that he was the best player of Nueva Ecija in the regular season, he was not their all-star. He was not a mythical 5 selection. He actually almost did not get the finals MVP award. Buti na lang nakuha niya yun.
He was indeed the most important part of that championship team. He kept that team in contention for a lot of games that they were about to lose in the regular season and in the playoffs.
Robbie Celis at the stripe. Conversion right there. 4 points now for Robbie Celis. But again, it hasn't been the easiest day shooting the basketball for him. In the first half, he was only 1 out of 5 from the field. 39-33. Mabulak down low against Celis. Michael, lefty hook shot, no good. Ball tapped away by Wico.
That's something that Nueva Ecija was able to milk a lot in the first quarter. That matchup between Michael Mabulak and Robbie Celis on the low block. Mike had a couple of baskets against Robbie in that first quarter that helped the Rice Vanguards establish the early lead.
Collision right there. Eman Calo, he looked to have been hit on his head. Byron looks to be okay.
Well, it was almost the same situation when Villarias was able to pick up the steal successfully. This was the same play. Where you see Eman Calo coming out of those screens down low and getting it from top of the circle.
Napabeso-beso itong sina Eman Calo at Byron Villarias. Villarias immediately apologized to Eman. That's good respect between those two veterans.
And you see Tonton Bringas really actively barking out instructions to his teammates.
I'll be honest with you, Javi. This is the first time I've seen him like that in
You know,
the MPBL.
he's usually just very passive on the sidelines, or when he's on the floor, you don't see him shouting a lot. This is the Tonton Bringas that I knew back in the day, especially when he was still in college and high school.
Bringas now has the basketball. They go to Robles. Nice matchup against Michael Wico. 7 on the shot clock. Billy, spin, tough shot. No basket.
Impressive defense right here by Mike Wico. Both of them play the same way, and that's why it was easy for him to try and neutralize Billy Ray Robles in that area of the floor.
39-33, 6 minutes and 13. Biton, pick and roll. Clear foul committed by Calo. Makaloni, he has to be able to calm down. Eman quickly admitted to that foul.
I don't really see where the frustration is coming from. It clearly was a play on the ball. It was a hard foul, yes. Let's see here on the replay. Biton setting up Makaloni on that pick and roll. Quite a hard hit to the chest, but that's a foul that you give up in these types of games.
And you have to love itong si Eman Calo looking away as well. Tama rin yun para hindi na ma-escalate pa yung sitwasyon.
I don't think that should be called for an unsportsmanlike foul. It was a play on the ball. It was a hard foul, but definitely something that you should not call an unspo.
How about this? Eman Calo's being iced. That was from that previous collision with Byron Villarias. First foul on Eman. Free throws here for Will Makaloni.
Natamaan siya medyo sa
chest?
Sa chest eh. And the backlash of that hit might have had an impact on the lower part of his face. Kaya sinasabi niya baka natamaan siya sa labi. And you know, he has to be able to be used to these kinds of things. He's now the top scorer of this Nueva Ecija squad, and Makati will do everything to try and get him out of the game.
Right, especially come the playoffs, where everything gets a lot more physical. Again, these two might face each other in the playoffs. Might be in the first round, might be in the second round, you never know. 39-34, 6 minutes and change in the third. Billy Robles, Emancalo from the corner. Too strong. Three-point shooting hasn't been a theme in tonight's outing so far. A combined 3 out of 24 for these two teams. Bringas, back up. Cullar to Tonton against Macaloni. Bringas calculating, attempting that shot and missing. And here comes Michael Wico. Ooh! An absolute takedown by Michael Wico on Tonton Bringas.
He really wanted to give up that foul to stop the fast break. But there you could really love the competitive spirit between these two squads, especially Tonton Bringas playing against his former team. You see, Wico wanted to go after him, but I'm sure there's still mutual respect between the two former teammates.
It was definitely a statement, though, from both players, and they would gladly take that contact. As you saw, nothing escalated for both RV and Michael. Just great competitive natures being displayed. 5-point game, back up to Chris Bitoon. Met by Lucas Cullar. Rescreen, Bitoon. Trying to spin his way through to no avail. Mismatch inside. Great help defense. Mabulak, bounce. Wico. He was fouled.
The offense of Nueva Ecija forcing Makati, JC Cullar, to switch on Michael Mabulak. That gave Makati the opportunity to double at the post, which opened up the scramble defensively. Kaya nagkaroon ng spot si Michael Wico just under the basket to be able to get a good look. He drew two defenders. There was a help defense for the Kings, but because of the experience, faked out and was able to draw a foul.
9 points now for Michael Wico. He has made 5 free throws so far. That remains to be true. 39-35. Robbie Celes to Billy Robles. Kick out, Emancalo will now slow things down. May bukol siya at the left side of his face after that Byron collision with him. Turnover. Jay Collado will now return for Will Macaloni. It's been limited minutes for him so far. Only 6.5 played for Jay in the first half. Chris Bitoon, spin. No layup. Recovery. Byron, signature. Wala pa rin. He's now what?
0 out of 6.
39-35. Cullar, screen by Alan Santos. There's the roller. Santos was fouled.
The Rice Vanguards have not done a very good job on their pick and roll defense here in the third quarter. Previously, at the start of this period, it was Robbie Celes who was getting those opportunities of setups by JC Cullar. This time, Alan Santos, also a very smart player coming off that roll, getting the opportunity to get to the basket off that great pocket pass.
Now, Coach Gerson Cabildes will challenge that previous foul call. Presumably, if this is an unsuccessful challenge, that will be the third foul on Byron Villarreal, which will be very risky for Nueva Ecija because Will Macaloni also has 3 fouls already. Let me take this time to greet Sir Robert Chen of Makati once again and Madam Jax Resuelo. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Also to Austin De Guzman from Cebu who's watching right now. Magandang gabi. And we hope that you will continue to enjoy your MPBL action. Later on, the Negros Muscovados will be hosting against the Manila Stars. This coming Monday, from Bacolod, sa Iloilo naman po tayo. No? There si Ilonggo, si Sir Rudy Distrito, ang ating Head of Security, with Satar Macantal, Kenneth Durendes, ang ating Commissioner, and Head of Basketball Operations, Emer Oreta. For our Iloilo games, the United Royals will be defending their home court against the Manila Stars again. Before that, nice matchup. South Division naman, Jensen Warriors going up against the Zamboanga Family's Brand Sardines.
That's going to be a matchup to look forward to. Zamboanga having a change of leadership in their team.
Oh, they completely changed
in
their previous game. They're looking deadly again.
That was the Zamboanga that we grew to know. I thought that game against Muntinlupa would be close.
So the challenge is successful. No foul for Byron. Again, that could have been his third foul. So he's safe. Nice challenge by Coach Gerson.
Here we see it. Santos on the roll. You know.
Bola ba? Bola.
It was all ball. I think initially the referees thought that there was a hit on the body downstairs.
Umurba din kasi yung direksyon ni Alan Santos. Sideline. So, sorry, make that baseline inbound. Robbie Celis to the escape.
The Rice Vanguards not doing a very good job of communicating on those screens. Another slip by Robbie Celis. This time off the baseline, out of bounds play.
Makati continues to hold on to its lead, 41-35. Under 4.5 minutes in the third. Chris Biton against Lucas Cuellar. Pinapalabas si Byron. Piterias working with Collado. Takedown. Charge. And there's the smile from Emma Carlo. We missed that in this game.
And then we see they are in disarray right now on both ends of the floor. Look at that. Collado trying to make space para dito kay Byron Villarias. But I'm sure there was also a statement to be made as Eman Calo has been very physical with the Rice Vanguards here today.
Well, we've known him to be a very physical player. He started off being known as that, a pesky defender for Davao, eventually turning out now as a reliable scorer as well. Robbie Celis misses, put back, yes.
Once again, the Kings killing the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards on the glass. That was excellent defense by Mabulak on the initial drive by Robbie Celis, but you gotta be able to box him out. The most dangerous guy off of those shots is the shooter.
That was only the second field goal of Robbie Celis out of 7 tries. Now Makati will ask for a challenge. All 5 of them went straight to asking Coach Don Dulay for that challenge.
Let's look at that again. There's a pocket pass from Bitoon.
Oh.
They have a case there.
Yeah.
Santos went straight up.
And that was absolutely straight up. Great defense by Alan Santos.
Similar situation with what happened on Alan Santos on their offensive side of the floor. There was no block this time, but Santos definitely just went straight up. I don't think his momentum was moving forward to try and impede the progress of the offensive player.
So this will be the last challenge, at least for this game. 43-35 with 3 minutes and 44. It's been a very slow game and a low-scoring output at that for these two teams. Would you say that this is the type of game na inaantay na naman natin yung fourth quarter?
Oh, for sure. Because I mentioned earlier, whoever team will be able to perform well here in the third will have the better chance of winning in this game. But so far, it has been nip and tuck. But the Kings are slightly better here in this period because of their effort on the glass and their defense here on the shooting of Byron Villarreal, still scoreless from the outside in today's game.
These two teams are coming in with respective 4 state victories. Nueva Ecija with a record of 18-2. Alan Santos and company on the other end, 14-6, both in the North Division. Let's see what the verdict will be.
Upon review, the challenge was successful. There was no
So
foul,
no foul
on Alan Santos.
Nueva Ecija will retain possession though. Baseline inbounds.
Look at it again. There was the roll on by Mabula. See? Not a lot of contact right there to be able to merit a personal foul.
Mabulak was just off balance. That's why he fell down awkwardly. 43-35, 8 on the shot clock. Michael Wico on the reverse to no avail. Collado was there though for the putback.
Collado scored there, but for me, Robles gave too much space for Wico to be able to get a lane into the basket, which opened up the opportunity for Collado to get it off the glass. But that was only the second basket in terms of second chance points for Nueva Ecija in this game.
20 on the other end for Robbie Celis and company. Celis continues to try to take it to the paint, and now he gets the foul from Roy Sumang. First foul on Roy Sumang. Pasok dito sina Pamboy Raimundo and Renz Palma. Baseline inbound, 14 on the shot clock for Makati. Billy Robles onto Robbie Celis. Again, Shaq Taganas this time. Robbie will shoot, and he scores.
Can't get him isolated on that side of the floor. Right wing, right corner. Shaq Taganas pa yung nasa harap niya. He for sure will take advantage, sizing him up and getting that perimeter jumper.
Celis is now up to 10 points. He's slowly but surely getting his touch from the field now. Back up, Pamboy Raimundo. Misfires, rebound, Robles. 45-37. This is the biggest lead in this ball game. 8 points for Makati. Robbie, this time, the driving kick. Terzo for three. Too strong. Rebound, Robles. They go to Celis, who fakes and drives. Feed, Billy, 2 points.
Lackluster defense once again para dito sa Nueva Ecija on the recycle. They did not communicate. Robbie Celis was left without a man. Calo locating him on the shallow cut and getting it to Billy Ray Robles underneath.
The other end, that could have been big for Nueva Ecija. Scramble. Great effort by Robles. He's called for the walk, but you'll take that if you're Makati.
Oh, definitely. Billy Ray Robles continues to play hard here. Even if he's not scoring the points, you can see the energy and effort played on the defensive side of the floor. Getting those rebounds. Just those things already very important para kay Coach Don Dulay coming from Billy Ray Robles.
Well, that's the type of leadership that he has for Makati. Robles is not a talker at all. And so he will have to lead by example. Again, later on, folks, Manila will be on the road to take on the Negros Moscovados. Not the Bacolod City of Smiles. Bacolod will not be hosting. It's Negros instead. Well, it is Negros province after all. The island of Negros. Later on, we'll be breaking that down even more so in the second game. Had a long conversation with our driver.
Yeah,
about
heard that
earlier.
You had a geography class.
Yeah.
Going to the hotel.
It was very interesting though. Mamaya-maya na yan sa ating second game. Renz Palma could not score. The struggle continues for Nueva Ecija. 2 free throws though for Renz.
See, in the first half, Palma was actually successful in his first couple of times in attacking the basket. And we haven't seen him since then. Coach Jerson Cabiltes has had a hard time rotating his players because of the good play that Makati has shown here today. It's not been the usual substitution pattern that we've grown accustomed to seeing from Nueva Ecija.
Palma made his first free throw. 5 points so far for the ex-PBA player. Sometimes Renz Palma has to sit out for Nueva Ecija kasi sumusobra sila dun sa limit, no? Yung ex-PBA na pwede maglaro sa isang game. And that started because Roy Sumang has a right for them.
Exactly. And that's the reason why they released Vince Tolentino.
Right. And to Vince, wherever you may be, get well soon. He had a shoulder injury and has been bothering him for so long already. Could have been playing this Monday, but he's out. He's now an assistant coach for Iloilo. Double warning. Alan Santos and Jay Collado. 2 Two players with very fierce facial expressions as usual. Parehong namumula on the court.
Oh, pero off the court kuwela yung dalawang
Oh. They're two of the nicest people that you can interact with in the MPBL.
Definitely.
Pero walang tatalo kay Shaq Taganas.
Ayaw naman.
On and off the court, nakasmile lang yan eh.
Constant contention for our sportsmanship award. Ito si Shaq Taganas.
Just got the steal for Nueva Ecija. Roy Sumang, back up. Collado, big one here. Yes!
Now on the other side for Makati, that was horrible defense para sa kanila because you don't let Jay Collado get those looks from top of the circle. That's his favorite spot in shooting the basketball. But Kita Gavida, who has just checked in a few minutes ago here in the third quarter for Makati, once again showing us very basic movements, just a couple of pivots and the one-hander to go.
Should we start calling him the Mr. Fundamentals of the MPBL? As Roy Sumang scores inside.
That could be still for screening. Marami pa siyang kalaban sa pangalan na yun eh.
Do you have any people in mind?
Definitely is his former teammate, Marky.
Right? Lalo na mas bumagan ngayon si Marky the way he plays.
Maybe we could find a different moniker para kay Kita Gavida.
Three-pointer for Lucas Gulliar.
Both teams able to knock it down from the outside. Gulliar getting that one on that side para sa Makati.
Big shout out to Lucas Gulliar, by the way. He was improved his three-point shooting by a ton. He wasn't known for that back in college. Before, you can definitely leave him wide open. And that will do it for our third quarter. Still another slow quarter for us, but Makati is in full control here, up by 8.
Compared to our second period, this was a much closer game para sa Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, able to limit itong Makati to under 15 points, but Robbie Celis able to get back his rhythm here in the third period, and this is not a good sign para sa Nueva Ecija heading into the fourth quarter. We all know how Robbie Celis elevates his game in the final period.
So he was 1 out of 5 at halftime, and he was 3 out of 4 in the third quarter. Definitely very scary for Nueva Ecija. 52-44 after 3. Oh, there you see Ryan Dapedran from our finance team. Always very colorful at the sidelines. Sama niya ating VIPs, no? Dito sa University of St. Asal in Bacolod, the city of smiles, for your MPBL Saturday before we proceed to Iloilo, the city of love, this coming Monday. And we do appreciate your love, folks, as we continue to give you your coverage of the MPBL's 5th season. This is Mix Gomez alongside Javi Palanya and Andrea Endicio. For the fourth quarter, the score now is 52-44.
As you can see, the quarter scoring right there on your screens. Both teams fighting it off to a deadlock in that third period. Improved play by Nueva Ecija, but Makati still able to hold the fort because of their efforts on the glass and their great defense.
Now that's another good sign for Nueva Ecija. The first three-pointer in this game for Roy Sumang. He's up to 5 points. 52-47. Joseph Terzo working with RJ Ramirez, Lucas Colliar, Alan Santos, and Keith Aguvida. Missed by Lucas. Battle inside. Ball won by Nueva Ecija. Here's Sumang on the move. 1-2. Sumang misses. Kabila tayo. No numbers for Makati. Terzo, slowly, or wisely, slowing things down. Lucas, three-pointer again, short. And here comes Pamboy Raimundo. Screen up top by Shaq Paganas. Pamboy, no pull-up. 15 on the shot clock. There's the shot by Raimundo. Too strong, takedown, no foul. And how about Shaq Paganas helping out Alan Santos after he took him down? There's a foul on the other end.
Take foul right there by Pamboy Raimundo. Clearly a mismatch on that baseline against Keith Agovida. Could have been another reverse layup on the left para kay Keith.
Pasok dito. Si Franz Diaz, who had a three-pointer in 4 minutes of play for Makati in the first half. So Javi, I'm sure now you remember where you covered him before.
Yeah, Franz Diaz actually played for Coach Chico Manabat with the CEU Scorpions, part of that last championship run that they had in the UCBL. They swept all 14 games to win the championship.
Was he teammates with Robbie Darang? Ay, hindi, kalaban.
Hindi, kalaban sila.
Kasi Diliman, no?
Yes.
Si Robbie.
Coach Renzi Bahar.
Ooh, no violation there for Palma. Pamboy, the kick out. Roy Sumang for three. Too strong. Nice box out, as usual, by Shaq Paganas.
Perhaps one of the smartest, if not the smartest, rebounding big that we have here in the MPBL, at least in the category of players who are not athletic.
Shaq Paganas previously held the record for most rebounds in a game, 26, before it was shattered by Balti Baltazar, now with 27 as the new record. After that, Balti has continued to reach the 20s in terms of rebounding. He is averaging 17 to 18 rebounds per game in the season. Folks, if you want to learn more about rebounding, check out the page of the NUEVA ECIJA Right Standards. Scroll down in their videos, may makikita kayong tutorial ni Shaq Paganas on how to get rebounds. Nice feed inside to Will Macaloni.
One of the rare times in this game we've seen that vaunted high-low play that NUEVA ECIJA has become accustomed to running. Great feed inside to Macaloni.
Under 8 minutes, 52-49, just a one-possession game. Ramirez onto Agovida. There's his leaner.
A very efficient game para kay Keith Agovida, but give credit to his teammates for setting him up in spots where he can be very successful.
Agovida is now 4 out of 5 from the field. Will Macaloni answers back.
Are we going to see a shootout now between Agovida and Macaloni? Let's see how this one plays out between the two players.
No, why not? I'm sure this crowd is hungry to see immediate baskets back and forth from these two teams. It's been a very slow game, very physical at that as well. 5 on the shot clock. Tonton Bringas with a jumper.
Oh, he's been silent in the second half of the third quarter. At Bringas, he definitely could hit that outside shot. That is within his range.
56-51. Roy Sumang scores on the other end.
A better drive going to the basket compared to the fast break opportunity he had a few possessions ago.
56-53. Under 7 minutes. Keith Agovida up top. They go to Franz Diaz. Met by Roy Sumang. No high-low. Tonton. Mid-range again. This time off to the right.
I'm surprised they gave him that shot, especially after hitting the one earlier on the baseline. Good thing he missed it to si Tonton Bringas.
Roy Sumang scores. That's another two-pointer for Super Sumang.
Those are definitely the type of moves that have catapulted him to superstardom, especially during his days with the UE Red Warriors.
Sumang now has 9 points. A chance here for NUEVA ECIJA to take the lead. Sumang with a pull-up. Short. Oh, he's now the new crowd favorite here in Bacolod.
Certainly one of the most exciting players we've seen don a UE jersey. Not really agreeing with that attempt from the outside by Roy Sumang, but this one definitely verified by Coach Gerson Cabiltes. That is Roy Sumang written all over it.
Now Sumang will take a well-deserved breather. Balik dito, sina Byron Villarias and Robbie Celis. The two Bacolod Nuns in this matchup. 56-55. Franz Diaz scoring in this quarter 11-4 in favor of the defending champions.
Interesting to see how Franz Diaz will be able to adjust to the physicality here in the MPBL. But right away, Coach Don Dulay realizing that this is Franz Diaz's first game. I don't want to take any gamble of him turning the ball over, especially now in the fourth quarter. So he pulls out Billy Ray Robles from that bench.
Robles is being joined by this guy, Robbie Celis, who misses. We also have Joseph Terzo, Eman Calo, and Tonton Bringas. Kabila, Pamboy Raimundo. Also has Michael Mabulak, Will Macaloni, Michael Vico, and Byron Villarias on the floor. Macaloni could not catch that basketball. MSC recovers. 7 on the shot clock. Vico, his drive, and layup. Is that a charge? It looks to have been.
That's a good call by referee Jojo Belnas on that baseline. Aggressive drive going to the basket. Good move by Vico. But everything but the finish para sa kanya. As you can see here, it was very clear. He used that left arm to ward off the challenge by Tonton Bringas.
All right, so we have a timeout now, courtesy of Coach Don Dulay. He's feeling the sense of urgency because MSC has clawed their way back in this game. 56-55. See the numbers of Will Macaloni in their previous game versus Caloocan. Great shooting percentage, above 50%, 66% from the stripe, and another monster's double-double.
Here he has 11 points, 5 out of 6 from the field. Still under 10 rebounds, but he does have a lot of time to be able to match those numbers or maybe even surpass it. But it remains to be seen how Makati will be able to give those opportunities to Will, especially in this crucial stretch of the game where the Kings are only holding a 1-point lead.
Now, Andrea Indicio has something to tell us about Will Macaloni.
With the fame and exposure that he is experiencing now, Will Macaloni said na noon daw, he was a nobody sa industriya ng basketball. Ganun pa man, hindi daw niya binitawan ang kanyang pangarap and he patiently waited for his moment. Hindi daw siya masyadong nagagamit sa kanyang dating team, but then there came a time that 2 of their bigs were ejected from the game and the team was left with him. Before the game, he went in front of the mirror and said to himself, ito na yung chance na iniintay ko, and guess what? He ended up with a double-double that time, and from that game, nagtuloy-tuloy na daw ang lahat. And this is a reminder from Will na wag bibitaw sa pangarap until you get that chance. Dahil kung gusto mo daw talaga ang isang bagay, all it would take is one opportunity to skyrocket your dreams. Back to you guys.
Nice report. Great job, Andrea. And I'd like to assume that she was pertaining to one of the days of Will Macaloni playing for the Cebu City Sharks. No? As you get to see the foul inside. Natamaan ni Michael Vico, si Tonton Bringas. Going back to Will Macaloni, he wasn't supposed to play basketball anymore, diba? After nung kanyang school days in Cebu, kasi hindi naman ganun karami yung professional leagues, at least yung mga liga after college in Cebu. And so, he already had a day job. It had something to do with yung pagkakabit ng mga internet sa mga bahay. After that, he got an invite to try out for the Cebu City Sharks. He got in, and he was the lowest paid player in their roster. No? As mentioned by Andrea, he stayed ready. That's a great story. With injured big men on the roster, he stepped up, and here he is now, the leading all-star candidate for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards.
Now one of the highest paid players on this team.
Oh, great effort inside, but no basket for Michael Wico.
That opportunity with Cebu provided him an opening to get into the PBA.
All right. But he has chosen to play here in the MPBL. This is by choice para kay Will Macaloni. Score inside for Billy Ray Robles.
And how did that come para sa Makati? That came off another offensive rebound. It's second chance points for the Kings. Nueva Ecija has not been able to stop those rebounds off the glass offensively para dito sa Makati.
We have seen 20 offensive rebounds now in this game for Billy Ray Robles and the rest of the Makati OK Bet Kings, as opposed to the 8 of the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Ito na yung hinihintay natin, no? Yung fourth quarter, saan magkakadikitan na ang Nueva Ecija at Makati. May timeout tayo, 58-55. Calo versus Bicol was the leading scorer. 20 points, 4 3-pointers. He actually started very well in that game. No? Medyo nagpagal lang ng dulo dahil nakapak na rin naman yung kanilang laro. Now we have a report again coming from Andrea Indicio.
The one with the happiest aura for the Kings, and I'm sure you guys will agree with this, would definitely be Eman Calo. Sabi nga niya kapag daw light ang mood, nahahawa daw ang kanyang teammates, making them less tense. Speaking of pangahawa, sabi ni Eman ang nakahawa daw sa kanya sa pagkahilig sa basketball ay ang kanyang kuya na si Carlo Calo na dating PBA player. Growing up, nakita daw niya ang kanyang kuya na naglalaro sa kanilang lugar sa Compostela, Cebu, gamit ang alambre na ring, niyog bilang bola at lupa lang ang nilalaroan. Eventually, sa ganitong setup din daw siyang natuto ng basketball, and he is proud of his humble beginnings, hoping he could also inspire all young players out there that there is nothing impossible with hard work and determination. Back to you guys.
Galing. Great job,
That
Andrea.
is a very excellent report.
Galing. As you get to see our offensive rebounding, 19-9. Alambre. Tapos niyog. Yung bola. Nati-dribble mo ba yun?
Ang hirap nun. And you know, that really goes to show you the resiliency, the perseverance, you know, despite not having the resources to be able to get the initial training, to learn the game of basketball, dyan mo talaga ma-appreciate yung hard work of guys like Eman Calo.
Missed there by Byron Villarias. Makati's looking good here after that Robbie Celis basket. 60-55 with under 4 minutes to go. Joseph Terso working with Celis. They also have Keith Agovida, Eman Calo, and Billy Robles on the floor. Celis, ISO against Macaloni. Robbie, the drive. Fade away, he's blocked. Recovery here for Robles. They lose time.
Once again, that could have been another chance at a second chance opportunity. Coach Jersey Cabiltes is livid on that Nueva Ecija sideline, telling his boys to box out.
Again, offensive rebounding. 21 already in this game for Makati. Only 8 on the other end for Nueva Ecija. There's a foul committed by Keith Agovida.
And you already have two players in double-digit rebounding para sa Makati. Bringas with 11, Robles with 10. Celis is close to that at 7.
How about Robbie Celis coming alive in the second half after struggling in the first 2 quarters? Billy Ray Robles basically has more rebounds than points in this game. Byron, the drive. Kick out, Collado with 7 on the shot clock. Villarias, nice closeout by Agovida. Down to 2 seconds. Roy Subang, too strong. All out of bounds in favor of the Rice Vanguard.
In my personal opinion, that has been the kicker here in this game. That's the reason why the Rice Vanguards have been struggling greatly, it's because Villarias has not yet punctured the nets from the outside. They get a lot of energy coming from three-point shots of Byron Villarias. If you noticed when you watch their games, he really ignites a lot of their energy, especially in the second half. But because he hasn't been able to hit anything, he's 0 out of 7 in this game. They're doing a very good job of denying him and getting in front of him. And the couple of open looks that he had, di niya nga naitira kasi yung kumpiyansa niya wala pa dun eh. And we thought we were going to see that when he hit the layup. But after that, Makati just really pushed him out and forced Nueva Ecija to give it to another guy instead to Byron Villarias to prevent any rhythm from happening.
It's been a common theme in their losses, no? Nagsastruggle si Byron. That happened versus Pampanga. Well, the Sarangani game was basically a crazy day for everybody. That's Jeff Viernes, but obviously Jeff Viernes shot the ball a lot better than Byron Villarias. Now, the referees might be reviewing as to whether or not there was a shot clock violation in the previous possession. Don Rodriguez was actually up on his feet arguing for that case.
Well, habang downtime tayo dito, let's get this out of the way. Michael Vico nagpapabati sa kanyang asawa na si Anne, ang kanyang mga anak na si Matmat at Martina, si Franz and si Star. Happy viewing to you guys all the way from Pampanga.
May lalaki ba dyan? Based from the names?
Si Matmat yata.
Si Matmat? Kasi kilala natin si Michael Vico as a girl dad eh.
Yeah. Kind of like Kobe, huh?
And if you're hearing this, we apologize kung mali kami. But a big shout out to the Vico family. 60 to 55. And so it was a 24-second shot clock violation.
That's another thing that adds to the woes here of Nueva Ecija. Forced into a tough shot, a rushed shot by Roy Sumam. Something that you don't really expect coming from the Rice Vanguards at this time of the game.
60 to 55. Eman Calo. Joseph Terzo. Collado, inaasawa. Si Robbie Celes, pick and roll. Nice play by Terzo and Agovida.
I can tell you, this all Davao 5 definitely has what it takes to be able to play the same way for the last 2 minutes and 35 of this game and help them secure the victory. You could see very calm and collected in going into their set, very patient, getting that pass inside in the basket by Kita Govida.
Now this might be a concern. Joseph Terzo has fouled out. Babalik dito si Lucas Gulliar, the starting point guard in this game for Coach Don Dulay.
And you're right, Tess is now going to be the challenge. Just right after I pointed out that it was going to be an all Davao 5 to finish the game, JC Colliar had to come in for Joseph Terzo, who just fouled out.
The good thing about Lucas, or JC Colliar though, is that even though he's a youngster in the MPBL, he's technically a rookie. He's used to being a leader on the court. He was the team captain of the CSB Blazers in the most recent finals run of CSB in the NCAA.
And that's why it's easier to be able to inculcate guys like Colliar into your culture, into your team, because there is not much maturity needed to happen as you look at the hustle board on your screens. 15 assists for Nueva Ecija, definitely one of the best passing teams. They're #1 in that department. Steals 8 all, but the blocks have been on the side of Nueva Ecija. Surprising numbers as you consider the score here, but it's really on the rebounding department and second chance opportunities. Kung saan nanganguna Makati, it's why they were able to establish this lead until now.
Rebounding natin 50 to 35 in favor of Makati. Second chance scoring 28 to 8.
The Rice Vanguards have not been able to taste the lead since the first quarter.
And that first quarter featured a 5-point lead early on, 8 to 3. After that, it's been all, or almost all, Makati. Lucas, switch, Agovida, faking on the 3. Kick out, big time shot here. That's good for Lucas Gulliar.
And that's why I say, guys like JC Colliar, aside from the fact that they're so mature, he is not afraid of the big moments. You could see there, wide open shot. Any rookie here in this league would think twice about taking it, but not JC Colliar.
I tell you this, having covered that guy back in his college days, as he gives me that shotgun at the sidelines, he hesitated a lot shooting that three before. Now he's so confident that he's given a 10-point lead to Makati. This guy has come a long way. He hails from Rome, Italy, folks. Dito, ang kanyang hometown ay Batangas, pero sa ngayon sa Bacolod, nagpapakitang gilas. Si Lucas JC Colliar, 11 points. How about that? 3 3-pointers from the guy who used to not even attempt from downtown. Michael Wico answers back on the other end.
That's an important basket para sa Nueva Ecija as we now enter the final 2 minutes of this game. Time slowly wilting away para dito sa koponan ng Nueva Ecija.
Robbie Celis escapes. Layup, no good. But there you see the effort on the glass once again by Makati.
I don't see why Nueva Ecija hasn't been able to prevent those offensive rebounds, but good thing they get a steal here.
That's 22 offensive rebounds already for Makati. And a turnover on the other end for Nueva Ecija.
And what's puzzling to me, Migs, is Makati is definitely the shorter team here compared to Nueva Ecija. Start of this game, they fielded in a big lineup right away. Macaloni and Mabulak at the big man spot. But Makati, it's been Billy Ray Robles, Kita Govida, and Tonton Bringas who have been terrorizing them on the offensive glass.
65-57, under 90 seconds to go. Colliar bringing down that basketball against Joshua Pontanilla. Agovida, 12 on the shot clock. They go to Billy Ray Robles, met by Michael Wico. Two-man game with Keith Agovida. Now for 5 seconds. Billy needing a teammate. Cross court. Calo to beat the buzzer. Short. An all-important possession here for Nueva Ecija. Wico down the middle. He scores.
He's trying to single-handedly carry his team back into this game. Just a 6-point lead here for the Makati Kings. You see here almost a steal by Eman Calo, but Wico able to recover despite the defense of Billy Ray Robles. Trying not to foul, Wico going up hard strong for those 2 points.
You can see it in the body language of Michael Wico. He's not happy. He's doing everything on the court so that they might be able to pull off a comeback. Still a long way to go, folks, for Nueva Ecija versus Makati with 26 seconds to go. This will be followed by Negros hosting against the Manila Stars here inside the University of St. LaSalle Coliseum in Bacolod City. And there you see Alan Mangahas and homegrown Clark Tata Bautista for Manila. Homegrown, that is Bacolod Wise para kay Tata.
The field goals this quarter, 50% for Nueva Ecija, but because Makati was able to establish a lead early, nasabi na nga natin kanina, the Rice Vanguards have not tasted the advantage since the first half.
Biggest lead in this ball game was 10 points in favor of the Makati OK Bet Kings. It's been a tight game, a very slow one at that, highly physical as well. And this will really be a statement win if Makati continues to take care of this lead. Again, folks, the story of this game is highly focused on the head coaches. These are the two most recent champion coaches in the MPBL. Season 3 for Coach Don Dulay when he was the head coach for the Davao Occidental Tigers. He has now transferred to Makati. And Season 4 for Coach Gerson Cabildes with the NUEVA ECIJA Rice Vanguards. The last time that they were supposed to face each other was in the playoffs in Season 3, back in the South Division Finals. But because of COVID protocols, the Basilan team was not able to play. So these two coaches are highly motivated to get a win here in Bacolod. There's a foul inside.
Robles splitting his charities. He's just 2 out of 5 here in this game. It surprised me on the flip side when NUEVA ECIJA got into their set. Roy Sumang took too long with that rock. Villarias was already coming off on the top of the circle area from those screens in the baseline. And Sumang didn't give it up. So precious seconds coming off of that game clock.
2 free throws here for Jay Collado. First one is a miss. NUEVA ECIJA has played without Jonathan Uiloan in this game, who is their team captain, meaning Collado is the team captain at least for tonight. Second free throw is good. Babalik si Michael Mabula. This is still very much possible for NUEVA ECIJA to pull off a comeback, down by 6 with 34 seconds to go. Timeout situation, tigisa tayo para kina Coach Gerson and Coach Don. Full court inbound. Here's Robbie Celis met by Bobby Balucanag. No foul yet. Almost a turnover. Bring us in trouble. They go to Puljar. Double team at the worst spot. Scramble here. Wico going at it with Tonton Bringas. Now Wico lets go. I'd like to give props to Tonton Bringas, who did not react violently in the previous sequence. Wico actually had an elbow to the neck of Bringas.
It could have been a dangerous situation there para sa Makati. That was almost a steal. They tried their best not to foul. And here, if not for the dive of Tonton Bringas, that could have been an easy 2 points on the other side for NUEVA ECIJA. And cutting this lead to 4, maybe even 3.
10-second differential, 11 on the shot clock. Robles to Tonton. That's a foul committed by Mabulak. 2 free throws tayo para kay Tonton Bringas, who has played splendidly in their outing tonight. He's perfect so far from the strike. 3 out of 3. 7 points, 11 rebounds, only 2 out of 11 from the field. But Javi, talk about his overall impact.
He really set the tone here para sa Makati. They started out flat in this game. NUEVA ECIJA was the better team at the beginning of this match. But because Bringas set the tone para sa kanila, his effort and energy on the glass, getting a couple of baskets in that first quarter, that put them into a tie with the Rice Vanguards after the end of the first 10. At nagtuloy-tuloy na yan, it rubbed off on everybody.
1 out of 2 at the strike for Tonton Bringas. He's up to 8 points with 11 rebounds now. 7 offensive rebounds at that for Tonton in this game. The score is 67-60 with 19 seconds to go for Coach Gerson Cabildes and company to try to pull off a comeback. This will be their last timeout. Are you expecting a 3 in the next possession?
Well, could be. I'm hoping, I'm expecting rather that they're going to try and set up Byron Villarias. But because that could be the case, I'm sure Coach Don Dulay is expecting that as well. So he might use Byron Villarias as a decoy. I'm not sure if Coach Gerson will try and insert Sherwin Concepcion this late in the game to try and make him an option on this play. I think Coach Gerson Cabildes will be going with the same 5.
Folks, this coming Monday, we will feature Jensen versus Zamboanga, and then Iloilo hosting in city of Pasig against the Manila Stars. Hindi po tayo sa Colegio San Agustin, no? That's the City of Pasay Arena, which we have been there once before. Billy Ray Robles is actually talking to us right now. Sayang nga, no? Hindi siya makapaglaro sa kanyang home court. He is the Ilonggo Superman after all. But right now, he would gladly take the 7-point advantage against Nueva Ecija with 19 seconds to go. Sideline for Michael Wico. He needs a teammate. There's Roy Sumang. Nice fake. Three-pointer. Too strong. Byron. Back to Roy. They're losing time. Ooh, foul.
Should have just let that go, or maybe just put his hands up. Too aggressive defensively. Ito si Eman Calo. They already got what they wanted to get seconds off of that game clock, really delaying the attack for the Rice Vanguards. Good job of getting in front of Byron Villarias when he got the handoff. He was forced to give it up to Sumang, who was met by Eman Calo, just unable to control his momentum as he tried to slap that basketball on the shot attempt.
So he immediately knew that it was a major mistake. That's 2 free throws, right, for Roy Sumang. You'll take that if you're Makati. Could have been 3. First one is a miss. That might just do it.
Yeah, aside from the rebounding mix, allowing offensive rebounds, it also has been the free throw shooting, which has been a major problem for the Rice Vanguards in this game.
That's 16 out of 26 from the stripe para sa Nueva Ecija. 13 out of 21 for Makati. 10 seconds to go, 67-61. This will be the final timeout for Coach Don Dulay as they will try to take good care of that basketball. Boy, what a statement win this could be for Coach Don Dulay. I'd like to give you their win-loss record against winning teams, though. So they lost to Caloocan, Quezon, and Bacoor. A couple of those, if not all of those, were actually close games. Sinasabi nga ni Coach Don sa atin na they blamed themselves. It was their doing, that's why they lost, no? They were a bit over-aggressive, nanggigigil yung mga players niya. But they did win against other winning teams like Pasig, Zamboanga, Jensan, San Juan, and Marikina. So they have a pretty good track record going up against tough teams in the MPBL. And remember, this is a team that started late with its core. Late dumating yung Davao core. Coach Don himself missed the first, 2 to 3 games in the season. Who knows what they can do come the playoffs. They are in the same division as Coach Gerson Cabildes in Nueva Ecija. 67-61, folks, with 10 seconds remaining. Sideline inbound for Billy Ray Robles to try to secure the win. Celis is open. Now they go to Eman Calo, who will protect that basketball. And now he will shoot free throws.
Bringas was wide open on the other side. He wanted that rock, but Makati trying to play it real safe, getting into their best free throw shooter in Eman Calo. Just one free throw here could seal this already for Makati.
What did this game prove to you about Makati?
Oh, that if they want to play defense, they can play exceptional on that side of the floor. If they put in that effort, this is a team that has already, at least for most players, has already won it all. So alam nila yung kailangan gawin para makaakyat sa taas. And one of the things that you have to go through in search or in pursuit of that championship, I said it already earlier, is you have to go through the best. And these are the defending champions. And how do you do that? You out-hustle them. You outplay them on both ends of the floor. Ever since they took the lead in the first half, the energy, the body language, it was different throughout the whole game. And they demoralized Nueva Ecija with all that they did from that point forward.
Now, Makati moves up to 15 wins and 6 losses. They're now only a half a game behind Pasig City and Caloocan, who are tied in the standings, 15 wins and 7 losses. They're slowly but surely creeping in to have home court advantage in the playoffs. And Javi, our best player of the game is
Tonton Bringas. I mean, there was a lot of people who played remarkable basketball here in this game. Celis had 12. JC Collier had 11. Billy Ray Robles had a double-double himself. but we couldn't help but give the best player of the game honors to Tonton Bringas because he set the tone for this Makati squad. His effort and his energy, his rebounding, the couple of baskets that he made really paved the way for Makati to be able to play well in this game. After those efforts, it was smooth sailing from there for the Kings.
So, to the guy who did not play last year, was riding the bench of NUEVA ECIJA, this year, he's the one who has led the way to defeat the Rice Vanguards for Makati. Tonton Bringas is now with Andrea Endicio.
First of all, congratulations. Although curious kaming lahat, paano mo hinarap at kinalaban ang mga dati mong teammates?
Yung mindset ko ngayong gabi, sobrang, yung isang araw pa, nakafocus na ako eh. Pagpunta namin dito ng Bacolod, talagang nasa aeroplano pa lang ako. Iniisip ko na yung mga gagawin ko, kung paano ko, yung role ko sa team, kung paano ko gagawin. Yun lang.
Talagang hindi nyo pinalamang ang NUEVA ECIJA Rice Vanguards in this ball game. Paano nyo ba nagawa yun?
Ginawa lang ng bawat isa yung role nila. Tsaka yung game plan ng coaching staff namin, napakaganda. So sinunod namin lahat yun. Lumabas naman sa laro.
Alright, meron ka bang gustong batiin o pasalamatan? Go ahead.
Meron. Binabati ko yung misis ko nasa Batangas, si Julian De Ocampo, Mami Soyla, Ginan, si Boss Jack Yulo, nanonood siya ngayon. Boss Jack! Si DRJ, si boss ng OK Bet, boss namin sa Makati. Tapos sila, mga kamag-anak ko sa Bataan. Yun lang.
Thank you so much. Once again, that is Tonton Bringas, our best player of the game. Back to you, Migs and Javi.
Boy, what a statement win that was by Tonton Bringas against his former squad in the MPBL. He did say, aeroplano pa lang, nakafocus na siya. And we did see it in his eyes as they got the win today. Congratulations to Makati. And thank you for joining us for Andrea Endicio and Javi Balanya. My name is Mix Gomez at ito po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.